Okay, hi, I'm Linda, and what I'm going to do here is introduce you to a book called Why Meditate by Matthieu Ricard. Okay, and I'm just gonna go through this book. I'm gonna read through it page by page and add a little bit of commentary on whatever happens to come up as I'm reading. And we might do a page a day or a few pages or a paragraph, depending on how much there is to say about, how much there is to reflect on about what is in here. And so why meditate? There are lots of reasons to meditate, and we're going to find out. And you see, it's a very thin book. It's very easy reading. It's very easy to get through. So I'll show you that cover again. This is a really worthwhile book to get if you are interested in working with thoughts and emotions. And transforming your mind, developing some mindfulness, some compassion skills, loving kindness. All of that is addressed in this book, as well as a view of reality that is different a little bit, but what I find much more effective and much more realistic, actually, than the way we, particularly Westerners, but just in the modern world in general, are relating to the world, to our lives, to reality, and especially at this time in these very challenging, difficult times that we're going through right now. So I'll tell you, I'm just going to read from the back of the book a little bit about Matthieu Ricard. I always show you the back of the book so you can see a picture of him. That's Matthieu Ricard right there. And Matthieu Ricard is a Buddhist monk who had a promising career in cellular genetics before leaving France to study Buddhism in the Himalayas. And here it says 37 years ago, but I think this book was written about 10 years ago, so it would be more like 47 years ago. He's a best-selling author, translator, and photographer, and an active participant in current scientific research on the effects of meditation on the brain. He lives in Nepal and dedicates much of his time to humanitarian projects in the Himalayas. And you can look him up on the internet, www.matthieuRicard.org. So let's get right into it. We start out, why meditate? A lucid assessment. Take an honest look at yourself. Where are you in your life? What have your priorities been up until now? And what do you intend doing with the time you have left? We're all a mixture of light and shadow, of good qualities and defects. Are we really the best we can be? Must we remain as we are now? If not, what can we do to improve ourselves? These are questions worth asking, particularly if we have come to the conclusion that change is both desirable and possible. So these are questions that are really worthwhile pondering, reflecting on, not just taking them lightly, but looking deep within to see if these questions are valid in our own personal experience and what the answers are, what comes up. In our modern world, we are consumed from morning till night with endless activity. We do not have much time or energy left over to consider the basic causes of our happiness or suffering. We imagine more or less consciously that if we undertake more activities, we will have more intense experiences, and therefore our sense of dissatisfaction will fade away. But the truth is that many of us continue to feel let down and frustrated by our contemporary lifestyle. So it's true, isn't it? In the modern world, we wake up in the morning, and many people, many people, you might be one of them, wake up in the morning, you're still in bed, and what's the first thing you do? Reach for your phone, not start checking emails or Facebook or the news even before you get up out of bed. To me, that's dysfunctional. And not to criticize anybody, it's the way the modern world is, but I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's helpful for our health. I don't think it's beneficial. And this constant activity, but why? Why the constant activity? Do we feel satisfied? Do we feel satisfied? No. And we're constantly looking for something to fill that sense of emptiness that we feel, or that sense of I need to do better, I need to do more. And it's not even okay for us to just sit and be quiet and still and do nothing. That we view as being unproductive, and being unproductive in today's world is just not okay. That's what we're taught, and that's the mindset and the belief system that a lot of us have these days. And so we think that if we go out and do more activities, and once one is finished, we start the next, and we this is how we're bringing up our kids too. You know, go to school. As soon as you finish school, you have to go to your dance lesson or your sports class. When you finish that, you have to do your homework, and when you finish that, you've got another activity, karate or whatever else that you have to do in the evening, and so our kids are learning this, and this is, you know, this is the way our lives are, constantly on the go, one thing finished. And not only that, but we're so busy that even while we're engaged in one activity, our minds very often have already moved on to the next, or we're not fully present with the activity and that we're engaged in, because we're anticipating already moving on to the next, or the time. We're always worried about the time. And yet, as he says, the sense of dissatisfaction doesn't go away. We feel let down, we feel disappointed, we feel a sense of emptiness, of unfulfillment, lack of purpose a lot of the time. And where's the meaning in our lives? In fact, this is a good point for me to bring up right now, because I've had a lot of changes in my own life over the past 3 years. Everything really has changed for me. I won't go into all the details about that right now, but specifically in these past 3 months, 3.5, 4 months, since this whole COVID pandemic has really been upon us, I've been doing some real inner reflection and some heart searching. Some people call it soul searching, but I preferred to say heart searching, mind searching. And one of the questions I repeatedly was asking myself is, what would give my life real meaning? And I've been teaching yoga and meditation for a long time, and in these past couple of years, I've been really studying meditation much more deeply, and studying the science, the neuroscience, the psychology that is backing up the meditation practice. So I see the meditation practice, it's always been my spiritual path, and I was looking for a long time for this merging of the science and the spirituality. And there doesn't have to be, there is no conflict between science and spirituality, particularly when it comes to quantum mechanics. And Matthieu is going to talk a little bit about that in this book, and he's going to give several references, or many, to the different studies that have been done in the field of contemplative neuroscience and in psychology. That are showing the results in the actual changes that happen in the brain with long-term meditators and with shorter-term meditators as well, and the changes that actually happen in the blood chemistry. When we're practicing mindfulness and compassion meditation, the blood chemistry actually changes, because as we're continue going about in our busy lives, we're tends to be in a very imbalanced state of the nervous system. The sympathetic aspect of the nervous system tends to be very in overdrive, and the stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol are constantly being released. And so the adrenal glands are also very stressed out in many people. This is an epidemic that has been going on for longer than the coronavirus pandemic has been happening. This stress and anxiety epidemic. But after just a little bit of meditation and compassion practice, what happens is the sympathetic nervous system is able to get deregulated, while the parasympathetic nervous system becomes active, which the parasympathetic nervous system is the part of the nervous system that helps us to relax. And we need it to be balanced in this way so that we can relax, because otherwise our nervous system tends to be in a chronic state of that fight or flight, that survival mode. And then the stress hormones, it becomes very negative effects on our physical health when the stress hormones are constantly being released into the bloodstream. So as we meditate, even for just a few minutes a day, we do our compassion practice for just a few minutes a day. That helps the parasympathetic, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. And when the parasympathetic nervous system gets activated, then the calming hormones get released, the hormones that actually make us feel good, that are known in psychology and psychiatry to be the ones that we want, so that we can feel calm and relaxed, and so that we can feel happy. So it's the dopamine to help reduce depression tendencies, and oxytocin. Oxytocin is the hormone. One of the things that it does is it actually stimulates our natural sense of caring for another being, and so so we feel good. We feel good when this the nervous when we meditate, we do compassion practice, the nervous systems start to get regulated, they start to get balanced, and right from the very beginning, it gives us a sense of calm and relaxation. Okay, so Matthieu continues, the aim of meditation is to transform the mind. Okay, so the aim of meditation, the health benefits are actually a byproduct. The aim of meditation is to transform the mind. And he's probably I won't get ahead of myself. It does not have to be associated with any particular religion. Okay, meditation is not religious. It can be, I suppose. All religions have their aspect of mindfulness or of contemplative practices, but meditation doesn't have to be associated with any religion, and every single one of us has a mind, he says, and so every single one of us can work on our own mind. And so we're going to leave it there for today, because I'm going to work on having these sessions be fairly short, because they're going to be fairly frequent also. But what we're also going to do is we're going to take a few moments to just settle in and do just a tiny bit of settling meditation, because even when we're learning something, if it remains intellectual, then that's all it is. It's intellectual. But what we really want to do is we really want it to come down into the heart, so that we can start embodying and stabilizing a new state, a state of well-being. We want to access and draw forth that state of well-being from within our own mind. Okay, And in the Eastern, in Tibetan, for example, the Tibetan language, there's only one word for mind and heart. And I don't remember what it is right now. But the mind and the heart are not separate from each other. So we'll just settle in for a few moments before we close off for the day. So just, I'd like to invite you, if you would like to just take a deep breath and then release. You can breathe out through your nose or your mouth, whichever is easier at this time. And just take another deep breath in. And then release. And start settling down into your body. Bring your awareness right down to your feet. Let your posture be straight and balanced. Feel the earth element, the qualities of firmness and solidity. Your eyes can be just gently cast downwards if you like. You can gently, lightly close them or keep them open, whatever is more comfortable for you. But with your awareness inward on the sensations in your body. And just bring your awareness to your breath for a few moments, not doing anything specific to your breath, letting it flow naturally and effortlessly. And just releasing with every out-breath, just releasing more deeply, feeling the sensations in your body, letting yourself slow down, being willing and allowing yourself to release whatever's in your mind. And just release with the out-breath. With every out-breath, release more deeply. Not thinking of anything else, just focusing on the breath, and particularly on the out-breath, just releasing. Not pushing it out, and allowing the in-breath to flow in naturally and easily, not drawing it in forcefully. But just really settling down in to your body. And then just for a moment, bring to mind the idea of the busyness of life, the constant activity. And pose the question to yourself, is this a helpful way of life? Is it beneficial at some times? Are there times when this way of constant activity is not beneficial? And relate it to your own personal experience. Are there times when I would like to be able to slow down and relax? And am I able to do that when I want to? And just be willing to explore something new in the upcoming weeks ahead as we work our way through this book called Why Meditate. Allowing your mind to be open and receptive to some new ideas, some new ways of being. And so we'll come to a close for today. Thank you for joining me and being here. And I look forward to seeing you again next time.